Hello all. I totally forgot about the a little different setup on the arm control on the right side. So when we look at this left and right, so now I have to thanks for Charlie. He sent me the show me the problem he has. So right now the correct way, correct braking should look like this. So you should be able to uh, the rig should be able to rotate the hand and then pivot the radius IK group like that, right? Here we go. So I could still grab this, everything follow. Here we go. Now there's a little trick on this. That because if you remember, let me take a look at this is the hierarchy. So the hand control has a hand group node on top, okay, and then parent that group node of the hand to the ulnar joint, which is the end joint of this side here, and then the radius IK group is a child of the ulnar also, that one, the ulnar joint there. So now the difference between here is if you look at on my radius IK group, look at on the rotation, it's set to 0. Okay, that because I actually manually changing the values before I parented, after I parented, before I mean after I parent the group IK to the UNA, and then I disconnect this from the IK group. Oh, sorry, no. The IK group owner, I I parenting, put in as a child of the owner one here. Now, when I put in a child, this volume will change to about 179 or something like that. That because even though when you look at on the joint one owner one, there's no volumes in here. These are relative volumes because joint can also be can be a phase transform on the rotation, and this is minus negative 5. That because 5 from the source of the hierarchy, the higher hierarchy, is not from the center of the workspace. So this might be a little confused to you, but let me show you something quick. Okay. Okay, let me explain you something first, like why it works like that way. So now I'm gonna create just a join, just example. Here we go. Gonna duplicate it. Just watch these two. Okay. So now these two joins in under window, under skeleton, mirror joint, you have a behavior and orientation. So this is what it does. For the orientation, it will do this. Control D, duplicate, rotate, and it just mirror orientation of it. So the values will be right around 180 on Z direction. But for behavior, this is slightly different. It does with the oh, let me duplicate, Control D. Do this first. Let's do minus 180 on the rotate X, minus 180. This is how the mirror function does. And then you rotate this way, either positive or negative. So we can just do negative here. How about 180? So that's how it does. That's why the original plane, uh, this side has some volumes on a X that more than these volumes. So now if you remember when we did, let me delete this. Okay. So when we did with this side, we got these values on this joint. It has actually, after we parented, it captures about minus 4, 5, something like that. I don't remember what it is. And then when reverse, these will have a values greater than that because of it's rotated 180 degrees somehow. So this is what happened. Um, After I parented, okay, so I have to change the values. Okay, this is let me open the one that without rigging yet on this side. Okay, okay, guys. So I open up my file that have not rigged on the hand control and the arm control yet. So let's put the arm control position. So I'm gonna just copy the name first, deselect, Control G to put the new group node on it. We call node, and I'm gonna rename it and put GP on it. So now this group node will be constrained to a owner join one. Oops, hold on. Let me select all. Here we go. So you're gonna select that owner, and look at these values. These called relative, not absolute. Location, relative location. Relative location is mean relatively from the higher hierarchy, but the absolute will be the values that from there to the center point here. So let's watch. This is what happened when we constrain. So select that, control click on the group node, and we choose constraint parent, open up option, uncheck maintain offset, add. Now this group node constrained to the object, the joint, and that joint has the relative values of location of the position like this, but the absolute workspace locations based on that. And when we look at on the group node it took that values from there to there. Does it make sense now? So that's why is I mean the reason not that why the reason that we have the relative values here so that it's easy to animate it, easy to relocate it. So it's basically contain two values, absolute world space and relative space. Okay, so now I'm gonna delete this constraint. Now though, I'm gonna put this as a child of the hand control group. So when I parented to, it's maintained the offset, but it showed the absolute world space, even though on because based on the group node, right? Okay. So now this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna zero these out. So when zero it out, Maya look at it. Okay, the absolute volume is still 100. We just zero it out to match the position, relative position to the group node, basically. So now this has relative location based on the higher hierarchy. Does it make sense now? Okay, so that's gonna happen with the radius group 2. So let's fix this first. I want to change the location so that it float like that. So what we can do is we alter the shape node. So go to control vertices, control vertex. But I'm gonna masking mine to select only curve so that I can region drag like this at once. Turn on move to make sure you are on object space. Right now this is the world space. If the world space, you're gonna have to move like 1, 2 and up. So I'm not doing that. Change to an object space. We can move perpendicular to the orientation and up, and then go back, change to select all. Now it look like this. Okay, I can move it down a little more if I want to. Maybe I should. Let remove it one more time. There we go. So now we get this. Okay. And so now I'm gonna go back to my group node again. And the group node, we're gonna parent this group node to that join. Here we go. So press P. Here we go. So and recheck, see if this is still 0, and look at on the group node again. Becomes 0 because it's used a relative position to this object, but the absolute still 100 something that you saw before. Okay, so now I'm gonna put this joint, palm joint into the hand control. So now hand will control those joint. Here we go. And now if I move the arm IK, it follow except the radius IK. We will make that follow soon. Okay, so let's do this first. Create a locator. We're gonna call hand control. Okay, and I think I renamed this incorrectly. This is not hand, guys. This hand. That's right. Oh, arm. Sorry. This should be arm control. Okay, and the arm control, I'm gonna reposition it. Hold V key and then snap. You might need to hide the geometry quick so that it really snap to the una joint, una joint one. I'm gonna increase the local scale to 2, so a little larger. And if you remember last time on my demo, somehow my shape node doesn't display on here. If somehow it happened to you this time too, just go to the attribute editor and change from uh, change from the local scale here to 1. Okay, so not there. It has to be on the shape node. Okay, so and then now I'm gonna face transformation, modify face it. Here we go. Okay, and then I'm gonna parent the arm IK. Just look for arm IK and parent it to the arm control. So now when I grab the arm IK, arm control, everything move. So now it's time. With this, we need to do this. Control G, group it to self, and rename to GP. We're going to use that as a position node, right? And turn on move to, press D, move, try to snap to that, I'm going to hide the geometry again. Snap to the una join 1 again. Here we go. Press D. Okay. So right now, we're going to have to parent this to the una joint. And remember, it will take, so I hold shift key. So select that, shift to una, and press P. Now come back to that group node. Here we go. It has the values. Can you see? Instead of it taking relative, it does take absolute value. No big deal. This is what you need to do. You need to detach the radius IK first. Shift P to take it out so that you can read 0 on rotation. And can you see the orientation change? Don't worry. Right now I am on workspace, object space. Don't worry, because when we parent the radius back, here we go, it will take that values. So parent it, here we go. And then now, even though it show an absolute values, but right here though, it's still 0. That what we want, we just want that to be 0, that's all. So at this point, when we grab this, it move with it, right? So now we need to connect this rotation right there to this rotate X. That's why we zero it out. Okay. Okay, so now let's open up, let's connect this rotation X to rotate X on the group node. Because see, the group node set to 0 now. So deselect window menu, general editor, and connection editor. Let me move this a little bit so that you can see it a little better. So select the hand control, load to the left, and select the radius IK group, load to the right, reload to right. Now look for rotation on the right side first. Okay, and we're gonna connect rotate X to rotate X on the right side, rotate and connect to rotate X. So now it showed up. So when we rotate, it should work now. So that's all what you need to do. And then the next step, you just hide this, lock and hide all of these and add the rest. Okay, so I already done it. Okay, just go back and look at on the how to do on the other side instead. So that's it for now. So it should work correctly at this point. If I move that here, grab that, rotate it. There we go. Okay, so and I can move it back. Alrighty. Okay, that's it.